Let's talk our most desired arenas we'd like to see this in. What we want to see versus what actually will happen might be two different things, but you go first, Parrish. I've got a list of some schools here, some that I'd like to see that won't happen, some that I think are actually very much on the table and probably have been floated privately behind the scenes. But if you had a top 3, 4, 5 list, in order or not, what do you got? Where should the NBA strongly be considering to play the NBA Cup in 2026 and beyond?
So I put together a top 5 list with no regard or little regard for capacity, because I think
that's got to be a major factor here.
Yeah. First off, you're having trouble selling tickets to a neutral site regular season NBA game. That's what they're telling us. All right. You're having trouble. And oh, by the way, welcome to college basketball. They do the same thing. They look good on TV, but they don't always look good inside the arena, these neutral court situations. So what the NBA is telling us is, man, we thought we could just put our amazing product in Las Vegas and all the tourists would come. But turns out tourists aren't really going to Las Vegas as much as they used to. And the ones who are there would rather go to the Sphere than come watch our basketball product. So we're thinking about taking this other places. If you're already having problems selling tickets, and this is one of the biggest nights of your regular season, and I think both of those things are true, it's okay if you sell 10,000 fewer tickets for one game because it's in an arena that won't hold that many people, if it looks cool on TV and resonates with your fans. So I put together a list of top 5. I know some of these things would be like, and this is the smallest place an NBA game has been played since, but I don't care about that. I'd start with Allen Fieldhouse. Just Wemby and Jalen Brunson battling for an NBA Cup championship, whatever that means, inside Allen Fieldhouse, paying heed. That's a cool place to start it. So, yeah, take it to Kansas. And, often I just remember growing up, and I didn't grow up in a place that had professional sports at the biggest levels. We had like AA baseball and Monday Night Wrestling, but that was as good as you could do in Memphis, Tennessee. But every once in a while, like the Cardinals and the Royals would come play an exhibition. I remember vividly right before the 1986 MLB season, the Cardinals and Royals had played each other in the 85 World Series, and it was like a rematch at Tim McCarver Stadium in Memphis. And I went to that. And fast forward all these years later, I've been to Final Fours and all sorts of stuff. But I remember that exhibition baseball game because it was something that you just didn't get where I lived. And some of these places, you're going to be able to take it where they didn't grow up watching the NBA. They don't watch the NBA every night. It can be a real event in that community, and perhaps Allen Fieldhouse could be one of those examples.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, this would be a throwback idea, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe even in the 90s, but I don't think it was as much in the 90s. You did have NBA teams kind of barnstorm and go and play in college towns, college arenas, for sure. Keep going with your list. So you've got Allen Fieldhouse one, which I also like the idea of specifically going to a state that does not have an NBA franchise to bring you might think that's antithetical to the idea. I would argue the opposite. You might actually get, because of the nature of the event and the unique nature of the event, you might be able to get people that are more willing to come in. You never have, let's just, hypothetically, you never have Victor Wembanyama come play in your state. You're telling me you might not try and go and make that happen? Of course you would. What else you got on the list?
Yeah, so Allen Fieldhouse checks that box. This place doesn't check that one, but it's just, you turn it on just to see what it looks like, to quote you. Cameron Indoor. Just take two of the best professional basketball teams in the world, some of the best basketball players on the planet, and put them in Cameron Indoor. And I know it has a capacity of only 9,314, but okay, so what does that mean? We sell 9,000 fewer tickets for one game? It's fine.
Ticket price for that will be outrageously. The secondary market will be crazy. Adam Silver is a Duke alum. He chairs the board of trustees at Duke. So while I think some of the logistics around Cameron Indoor would genuinely be tough, I promise you there's no other college venue that would drive a larger TV audience and general interest than the idea of having these NBA players, these stars, these huge human beings playing in that venue. I don't know if they can pull that one off, but I know there's no single one that would get more people to tune in just because of the very setting than Cameron Indoor.
I would adjust that slightly. I don't know if they will pull it off, but they can. It's possible. Remember in COVID when we were just scheduling games like 24 hours out? All of this stuff is possible. You just have to be willing to do it. So
yeah. Who gets the visitors locker room at Cameron Indoor? Like that kind of stuff.
No, let them figure it out, but you can do it. You can do it. Yeah. So that would obviously be incredible. The Palestra. I mean, that is. Have you been there?
Sure.
Have you been to the Palestra?
Of course. Yes.
It's the one place. It's not the one place, but it's the main place in college basketball that I would like to get to, but I've never been to. And
Plester's awesome. That might be my top pick, but I think there's no chance they ever go there. But I would love to see it there.
Well, every once in a while, people talk about putting the NCAA tournament there, and very quickly, the people who have the power to make that kind of thing happen say, "Have you ever been there? You couldn't do it there." So perhaps we run into those types of things, or you could just tough it out for one night or 2 nights or whatever. But it would be a cool thing to watch the best players in the world play in that place. Similarly, Hinkle Fieldhouse. I have been there multiple times, and it's just as cool as the first time you walk into Fenway, the first time you walk into Wrigley, the first time you walk into Hinkle. It's you look around and it's a lot like the first time you walk into Allen Fieldhouse, the first time you walk into Cameron Indoor. So Hinkle, I would put on the list, and the Pit. This is another one I've never been to. I've never been there, but I would love to get there someday. And all of these things, just the visuals I think are cool. I understand the logistics could be complicated, but if you told me the Knicks and the Spurs were playing at the Pit tonight, to your point, I would turn that on, if only for a second, just to see what it looks like.
I can't believe you just gave me a top 5, and I'll give you mine in a second, but I can't believe you just gave me a top 5 and it didn't include Pinnacle Bank. What the hell's wrong with you?
I could have taken NBA franchises to a state in which the NBA doesn't live. I could have made it incredible for whoever the home team happened to be.
Yeah.
Hey, let me go ahead and give you your cup now.
Yeah.
Hey, we have to play the game. Let me give you your cup now. No visitors winning inside Pinnacle Bank. We've been through this. That's a miss on I own that.
That's a huge miss. I actually talked with Fred Hoiberg earlier this week. Nebraska leads this week's court report, and I informed him of our entire Pinnacle Bank, but he was not familiar with it. I told him, Fred, GP says no one just walks in, and I actually have said many people have walked in and defeated your team. And he actually started laughing. But Fred Hoiberg is now very much aware of the bit. My next goal, I'm not even kidding. My next goal is at some point they open the season at home against Michigan State. We need to get Fred Hoiberg on camera just saying this exact phrase. You don't just walk into Pinnacle Bank. That's all I need to have happen.
We need that. Hilarious. Fred Hoiberg had no idea that you don't just walk into Pinnacle Bank was a thing. Similarly, my wife had no idea that Fred Hoiberg was a thing until she saw him walking on our television the other night, and she was like, "Who is that?" I said, "Hey, calm down. All right, that's enough." She said, "Who is that?" I said, "That's Fred Hoiberg." She said, "He's cute." I said, "I know what you mean. I think I know what you mean." So congratulations to Carol Hoiberg. My wife approves.
Good stuff. All right, my list. Behind viewers to the show, longtime viewers know that with this setup, over my left shoulder, I've got, this was made back in the day by Basketball Passport, a website that unfortunately no longer exists. You could actually go and log every single game you've gone to, upload your tickets. It was awesome, and they sold this poster. So I'm actually going to take this off the wall. It's got every single historic arena in college basketball. So I'll show this here for the audience. Let me move up, I think. Pretty cool, right? Good stuff. So on this, you can see my ring light there as well. This is one hell of a one shot, by the way, Josh. Thank you for this.
A few more times.
Oh, you got comments about the mic right now? It sounds like you're talking to me underwater, my man. Okay, so you've got everything from Heck Ed in Seattle, the Kennel, you've got the Pit, McHale, Pauley Pavilion, Bud Walton Arena. Would love to see it at Bud Walton Arena, but I don't know if that can happen. That's another state that doesn't have
there you go
an NBA team. You've got the Carrier Dome up in Syracuse. That would be an interesting one for sure. Palestra's on here, Cameron Indoor. They've got the O-Dome on here as well. They've got Breslin, Hinkle, Hilton Coliseum, Williams Arena, the barn in Minnesota. I'd love to see that there as well. Just the idea of NBA players having to play on a court where suddenly there's like a 3-foot drop off. You see those videos of how teams have to prepare for playing on that. Like every time Wisconsin plays at Minnesota, they literally practice diving to save the ball and rolling off safely. It's incredible. I don't think that'll happen. I'd love to see it. GP, here is my top 5. Here are the top 5 arenas that I think I'd most like to see and I think are logistical. Rupp Arena, number 1. It's got the size. You're in a basketball hotbed state. There is no NBA franchise there. The facilities meet the requirements, everything across the board. I think Rupp Arena should be number 1 on the list. Also, you have the best likelihood of having people playing in the NBA Cup semifinals and finals being from Kentucky. I think there could be a lot there. 2 is Allen Fieldhouse. It is definitely big enough. It recently had some renovations in the interior. Definitely can happen. That would be 2. I have Hinkle at number 3. I think Hinkle can actually host this event. You consider all the history surrounding it. It's the one arena on my list that is also in an NBA city. So everything that comes with Indianapolis, you can do a lot of stuff as you typically would, but then, oh, by the way, you play in Hinkle, the capacity there might be perfect, and it's another notable thing that you play in a legendary barn. Number 4, in the same state, you're telling me it wouldn't look awesome at Assembly Hall to see NBA teams play in the NBA Cup? I think visually, Assembly Hall would be number 2 behind Cameron Indoor. And then at 5, with the idea that Cameron Indoor should be on the top 5. I just don't know if they can pull that off. I'm trying to give you 5 arenas that I think logistically could be done. That's North Carolina, the home of Michael Jordan. It's a huge arena, basketball hotbed, and either you play it in the Dean Dome in the next couple of years while it still exists, or North Carolina is actually looking to build potentially a new building in general. And if that were to open and let's say this idea really hits and we're in year 3, 4, 5, 6 of this, whenever North Carolina builds a new arena, that could also work. So that's my top 5. A couple of other nominees. I mentioned Bud Walton Arena. It's big, basketball hotbed. It'd be cool. Breslin, just because of how it might be something of a flop. I'd love to see how Breslin's setup with the student section there actually looked for an NBA Cup game as well.
That's the other thing. You have to fill all the student sections with old people who just jump down and paint their face.
Or maybe you don't. I guess it depends on when it's played here. So there's finals. So you're right. That might be the case. I was thinking maybe you actually get students there. Now they're not going to have the same investment in that. These are also logistical things you need to account for. But I am tickled over the idea of the barn in Minnesota, Vandy's Memorial Gym. That would be cool just to see that. The idea of Mackey, which is an incredible venue, but having these guys go and spend a night or 2 in West Lafayette, to me, it's just funny. So interesting idea. Gave us some good, pod fodder to start the show here. I think Rupp Arena should be the one that if they do this, they try first. It's big enough. It's modern, good city. No NBA franchise in that state, but it is as basketball intense as any state. It's right there with Indiana, North Carolina. Rupp Arena would be at the top of my list.
And just law of averages, you're probably going to have 4 Kentucky players in the game.
Correct. Yes.
So it checks that box. I don't care about the Dean Smith Center. I don't mean it like that, but when I walk in there, it doesn't feel like Cameron to me. It doesn't feel like
no. It's just big. That's why I put it on the list.
It's just big, right? But those banners are cool.
Yep.
There's something cool about looking up and seeing Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And I bet you there are NBA players worth hundreds of millions of dollars who would walk into that place and they pull out their iPhones and they would take a picture of those banners.
No doubt about it. Yep.
And
by the way,
didn't take any pictures in Las Vegas last night of anything other than each other.
Pretty much, yes. Before we get out of here, there has been a mention in the chat here from Russ from the Boneyard, and I did see this on social media as well. I trust me, I love the idea. I know it's tongue in cheek. They will not be flying out to play this at the Lahaina Civic Center. It would be the most epic thing ever if they did the NBA Cup where they play the Maui Invitational. We can all dare to dream that's not going to happen. But half serious here. You tell players they get a trip to Hawaii on top of all this. I mean, on top of all the money that comes on top of it, they might be more willing to do that than play in any of these college arenas. I don't know, but that obviously that can't and won't happen. But yeah, we can dare to dream.
That feels like a place where the Players Association would say, we can't be on a plane for that long. We like to play cards, but we can't play it for that long. We can't play cards for that long.
I'm going to talk about the most bare bones locker room situation imaginable. It's at the Lahaina Civic Center.
But the resorts are nice.
The resorts are incredible. Everything about it is incredible. The gym is what it is, and that's what's made that event so special over the years.